Hello everyone, welcome to Dibya classes. So till now we have studied about the Java language, the history of Java language, all the characteristics OOPS, that is class, object, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism and data abstraction. And now today we'll study OOP versus POP programming languages. So before coming to the comparison between these two types of programming languages, let us first understand what is a program. Program. A program is nothing but it is a set of instructions given to the computer to do some particular task. For example, this is you. And this person is your teacher. Your teacher asks you to bring his red pen from his office table where he is sitting. Okay, this is called a task. The task is to bring his pen, red color pen, right, red ink pen. The task is nothing but he's given some instruction, please go to my desk and bring my red pen. Okay, and you will follow that one, right? You will follow that task. We'll go bring the pen and give it to the teacher. This is a short program. Okay, set of instructions. Program is nothing but it is just a set of instruction. The set of instruction given was to bring a pen. Okay, doesn't mean that there should be only one instruction, bring the pen. Maybe he might have told you to bring a pen, his copy, his reading glasses. Okay, there may be a set of instruction, not one instruction, one or more instruction grouped together, okay, given to someone. Here it will be given to the computer, right? In a program it will be given to the computer by you, by the user. The user will give some instructions to the computer which the program will execute. Execute means you will follow the task, you will do the task. Okay, so that is a program. So today we'll learn about what is the difference between POP types of program and OOP types of programming languages. Programming languages. So let us start. POP, the full form is procedure oriented programming, and OOP, the full form is object oriented programming. So before coming to the comparison, I will go directly to what are the examples of POP programming languages and OOP languages. So examples are C, Visual Basic, Fortran, Pascal. These are all examples of procedure oriented programming languages, and these are very old languages. Actually, basically the old languages which came first were following the procedure oriented programming, and now the new languages which are coming up like Java, C++, Python, these are object oriented programming languages. You just have to remember these examples, it might come in your board exam. So to understand what is the difference between POP, by taking a beautiful example. Let us take an example of an ice cream factory. this is a guy whose name is A. He has an ice cream factory. Similarly, there is another guy whose name is B, and he also has an ice cream factory. Now they have to buy machines to make ice creams in their factory. So what A did, he bought a ice cream machine, okay, which has a cost of 3 lakh rupees. The machine which will help him to create the ice cream cost 3 lakh rupees. It's a big machine, and the machine do total 4 works. The machine has the capability of doing 4 works or 4 tasks. Task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. This is a single machine, okay? You have to remember that this is a single machine which can do 4 tasks. That is mixing, freezing, cutting, and packing. So mixing means they're creating ice cream. For example, a normal chocolate ice cream. So mixing means they will mix milk, chocolate powder, okay, sugar, some vanilla essence kind of thing. It will get mixed, right? First it will get mixed, then they will freeze the ice cream, so it will become in solid form, because ice cream cannot be in liquid form. And then they will cut it into different shapes. Ice cream comes in different shapes. They will cut it, and before selling it in the market, they have to pack it. They will not sell it directly. They have to pack it in some beautiful package so that it is attractive, okay. So for example, the first, in task 1, milk, chocolate powder and sugar was mixed. Then in task 2, the whole mixture was freezed. Then in part 3, it was cut into, say, like kind of rectangle shapes, and then this ice cream was again kept inside a beautiful package so that it is ready for sale. But this person B thought of buying individual machines which does a single task, that is machine number 1, machine number 2, machine number 3 and machine number 4. Here A bought a single machine, but B bought 4 machines. Machine number 1, machine number 2, machine number 3, machine number 4, and each machine does only one task at a time. But this will do the same as the machine 1. The machine number 1 will do mixing, 2 will do freezing, 3 will do cutting, and 4 will do packing, okay. But the only difference is this was a single machine, this was a single machine, but here B has bought 4 different machines and the total cost was 4 lakh, right? So who is wasting money? B is wasting money. Okay, let us see what happens now. And similarly, this 4 machines also are now connected among themselves. That is, A is connected to, 1 is connected to 2, 2 is connected to 3, 3 is connected to 4. So 1 will do mixing, task 1, mixing of milk, chocolate and sugar, and 2 will freeze it, and 3 will cut in this shape, in the same shape, and 4 will do the packaging. Now it is the season of February. February, the love season, and Valentine Day is coming. And the younger generation doesn't want to give their best friend this type of ice cream. They are demanding for a love shaped ice cream. But does A and B has any machine to cut in this shape? No. So what they have to do now? Because demand is increasing for love shaped, they have to modify their machine so that they can cut in that love shape. Now A is in trouble. What he has to do? He has to cut the ice creams in love shape. So now A has to buy a new machine. He has to buy a new machine so that he can cut in love shape. So A will invest another 3 lakhs of rupees to buy a new machine which will do mixing, freezing, cutting and packaging. But now the cutting will be done in love shape. And in case of B, now he has a little advantage. Because see, mixing, freezing and packaging, this is common. Okay, he doesn't have to change anything. He just have to change the number 3 machine. That is, he has to buy a machine that can cut love shape, because mixing, freezing and packaging, this task it was done before also, it will be done now also. It did not need any changes, but the 3 machine has to be changed. So B will go and bring just a single machine to just cut the ice creams in love shape. So how much money has B invested? Just 1 lakh. So now, while A has invested 3 previously and now again 3 lakhs, total 6. A had invested 4 lakhs and now he has to invest just 1 lakh. So total 5 lakhs. So though before you could see that A had an advantage of 1 lakh rupees, now since the situation has changed, A has actually invested more as compared to B. Are you seeing the advantage? Yeah. So now what B will do? He already has machine 1, machine 2, 1 for mixing, 2 for freezing, and he had 4 for packaging. He will connect the new 3. He will connect 1 and 2 was already connected. Now he'll connect 2 with the new 3 and the new 3 with the new 4. Now he can get mixing, freezing, cutting in love shape, and then finally packaging of the ice cream. Right? Understood? Okay. So here the advantage was, since B bought individual machines, each doing different task, it was easier for him to replace and it was cost effective for them. The same technique which I explained right now is basically, this is what we can say as a POP programming technique, and this is a OOP programming technique. This is how this both type of programming languages work. So now let us get into the actual comparison. So first is POP and OP divided into. In POP, program is divided into small parts called function. So in this case, this machine, this machine is nothing but it is a program. What is the program? The program is to create ice cream, and there are a set of instructions. What are the set of instructions? First mix it, then freeze it, then cut it, then pack it. So in POP, the program that is to create an ice cream is divided into 4 functions: mixing, freezing, cutting, and packing. The program is divided into small parts called function. So mixing is one function, freezing is another function, cutting is another function, and packing is another function. The single program is divided into 4 parts here. In OP, program is divided into parts called objects. What is an object? An object is a self-contained unit of data and code. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 are objects. They have their own properties. Like 1 has a property of mixing, 2 has a properties of freezing, 3 has a property of cutting, 4 has a property of packing. And here the objects, the whole program was to create ice cream, are divided into not functions but into objects, into individual objects, and these objects are grouped together or combined together to do the particular task, that is creating ice cream. The importance is given to the functions and sequence of actions. Here in POP languages, the importance is given to the functions. Like MFCP are given to the function and the sequence, right? The sequence is very much important, because if you do mixing and then cutting, is that possible? How can you cut liquid? The sequence is important here. In OP also the sequence is important, but the more importance is given to the data. The data is more important here, while functions and the sequence is more important. Data are present in objects. Since it is object-oriented programming, most stress is given to the object, and object is nothing but it has the data. So the importance of data is more, but here the importance of functions is more, because program is divided here into functions, and in OOP the program is divided into objects. So since object is there, the importance is given to data. Since function is there, therefore importance is given to functions. Then the approach. POP follows a top-down approach, and OP follows a bottom-up approach. What does that mean? Here, taking the example of the ice cream factory, there was the big machine, and this big machine was divided into 4 parts, top to down, means from bigger to smaller parts, right? From bigger to smaller parts. Bigger part means we are talking about the whole thing. Then again, this whole machine was divided into 4 parts, smaller parts, right? So from top means from bigger approach to smaller things. And OOP is just opposite. That is, from smaller parts to a bigger part. Means first it was 4 individual machines. Small parts. Machine 1 is a small, machine 2 is another small part, machine 3 is another small part, machine 4 is another small part. These parts were combined to form a bigger part. From bottom to up, that is top. Okay, so POP and OP are just opposite here, right? It is just opposite here. It was from a bigger to smaller approach. A bigger program is there, you have divided into small parts, and here there are small parts, you combined together everything and a bigger program was formed, a complete ice cream. Because individually one can do only mixing, it will not create ice cream, or freezing will not create ice cream, or cutting will not create ice cream, or packaging by itself will not create ice cream. When these 4 works together, then only it can create an ice cream. So it is bottom to top, and POP is from top to bottom. Next is access specifier. We'll study in details about access specifier in class 10. For now, you can just remember that POP doesn't have any access specifier, and OP has access specifier, which are public, private and protected. We'll get into this in class 10. Okay, for now you just have to remember this difference. Data moving. Data can move freely from function to function, while in OOP objects can move and communicate with each other. Okay, so how data flew from function to function? Okay, in POP it was a big machine with 4 different functions: mixing, freezing, cutting and packing. So after mixing the data means after mixing all the data, here data are like milk, sugar, chocolate, powder. Okay, these are all data. The data was first mixed. This data was again transferred to the freezing part. After freezing, it was transferred to cutting part, and after cutting it was transferred to packaging part. So data moved from here till here. But here in OOP, data is not moving. Data is moving, but in form of objects. Like these are objects, and each object has data. So it had data of milk, sugar, choice, and this object communicated with another object for freezing, and this freezing object communicated with cutting object for cutting, and this cutting object again communicated with packaging. Okay, so when they are communicating, they are sharing the data. Data will be shared, but here objects are communicating among themselves, and in this area the data is just transferred from one function to another function, because it is present in the single machine. It is present in the single machine, only the function is changing over time. But here these are different 4 machines, 4 objects, 4 different objects, 4 different machines. So this object has to communicate, and when they communicate, the data will get transferred. Reusability. If you talk about reusability, we discussed reusability in the last chapter, that is inheritance, last part of this chapter, inheritance. The advantages of inheritance, where reusability was one of the advantages. So POP program doesn't have inheritance, therefore reusability is not possible, while in OOP reusability is possible. So if you want, you can reuse. So how to reuse? I will just explain you. For example, when they started making love shape ice creams, for the younger generation, the older generation said that no, we don't want this type of ice cream, but we want our old style. So only young people doesn't eat ice cream, right? uh, Everyone eats ice cream, everyone from a small child to 80 years person also eat ice cream. So they want their old one for also. So now what will A do? A has to run both the machines, because the first machine is cutting in this shape and the second machine will cut in this shape. So two machines means machine takes energy, right? Electricity, double electricity usage. If machine is operated by a single person, you need two persons now. One will operate for this one, another will operate for this one. So basically the cost is increasing twice. But what will B do? Very easy for him. What he will do? He will connect mixing with freezing, and freezing he will divide into two parts. One will cut in this shape, another will cut in love shape, and both will again go to packing. So ultimately this is just a single machine. So he needs just a single person. Single machine, low energy cost, low electricity cost, right? So this is the advantage, because now he is reusing, he is inheriting it. See how inheritance is working. Now his program was like this, new program, mixing, freezing, cutting in lump shape and packing. Now he already had a program of this one, because now it was useless because people were not demanding. Since again the demand came, he will inherit it and join in this program. So it is still the single machine, but it will do double task of cutting in both types of shape. Okay, this is the advantages of inheritance. But inheritance is not possible in POP. The next is expansion. It is not easy to add new data and function to the program, and here it is easy to add new data and function to the program. These two are somehow related. Since reusability is possible, that is inheritance is possible, you can expand the data. Here there was no expansion. These are two different machines they are using now, but here it was expanded, right? It was connected and the program was able to be expanded. Next, data access. Most functions use global data for sharing. Data can be accessed freely from function to function. Here, while using this machine, there was no problem in accessing the data. Data was easily transferred from mixing to freezing, freezing to cutting, cutting to packing. But in OOP, data cannot be accessed easily from function to function. It is kind of private, it depends. Okay, like this. Since these are all individual machines, the objects are all individual machines, till they don't communicate among themselves, data cannot be transferred. But here it is already one machine, okay? The data can be transferred easily. But here if, like for example, mixing and freezing के अंदर झगड़ा हो गया, they don't want to talk and communicate with each other, how the data can transfer from this small machine to another small machine? It is not possible. So it is something like that, and it has its own advantage. It has its own advantage. If you want to keep your data secured from one object without getting transferred, you don't want to transfer it, you want to keep secure, you want to transfer when it is required, okay? You want to transfer when it is required, then this has an advantage, because you have the capability of sharing the data when you want, but it is not possible in POP. But in OOP, if you want, you can share. If you don't want, you cannot share. But here, it is going to share because it is present in the single machine. Means, here, what is the advantage is, for example, there are 4 machines, 4 different machines here in OOP. So, in case if 2 somehow becomes problematic, it is not working properly, you can stop the data from flowing. Because if you flow the data, again the data will be means in problem, because it will not freeze and the data will be damaged, right? But in POP, it was a single machine. Even if this part is broken, the whole machine is broken, right? But here the whole machine is not broken. You just have to replace this machine and you can stop the data here. Don't need to transfer the data right now, but here the data will get transferred and the whole mixing will get damaged and the machine is destroyed, the ingredients, the raw materials, everything is destroyed. The next is data hiding. The data hiding is linked to encapsulation and data abstraction, we studied in last part of this chapter 1. So POP doesn't support encapsulation and data hiding because these are not characteristics, because encapsulation and data hiding data abstraction were characteristics of object oriented programming, not procedure oriented programming. So it doesn't support data hiding, and since data hiding is not there, it is less secure. So what data hiding does? We talked about the WhatsApp example where there are many things written but it is kept hidden, because if it is not hidden, then if someone wants, he can change the program and the WhatsApp app will not behave appropriately. So POP are not secured enough, but OOP programmings are very much secured. Therefore, now OOP languages are used as compared to POP languages, because if security is not there, anyone can change the program, hacking will be done, and it will be very much problematic in nature for everyone. Next is overloading, that is polymorphism concept, which is again a characteristics of OOP. It is also not present in POP, but here in object oriented programming, overloading is possible. So these are the examples. You can remember there are many more programming examples, languages here which are part of POP and OP, but this much is enough for your board exam. What we are studying is according to the board exams only, because Java is a vast language and there are many things to learn. Okay, like it will take years and years to cover everything in Java, but what we are learning here is according to the board syllabus, class 10 board syllabus that you are going to give, right? And you want to score the best mark, 100 out of 100, at least 90, minimum 90 out of 100, and it is very easy to score. But if you want to study everything about Java which is not required or not a part of syllabus, then first of all it will be difficult to understand everything, and why to study which are not required now. You just have to study the basics which are in your syllabus, because Java or computer application is not the only subject you are going to study in your class 10, right? There are 10 to 12 subjects, physics, chemistry, math, biology, and many subjects. You have to give equal time to all these subjects, especially science if you are going into engineering or science related streams. So this is therefore how these syllabuses are made in ICSE or CBSE or any board. So we will stick completely to ICSE class 10 syllabus and we'll learn that much what it is required for you. Okay, so now we completed POP and OP. So chapter 1 is completed. I think you enjoyed chapter 1. Chapter 1 is very important. You will get an average of 4 marks, from 2 to 6 to 8 marks in your board exam. So please go through the chapter again and again, starting from a first part to this fourth part of the video. And next we'll discuss few board questions that has come over the years. okay, in our next part of this chapter. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you very much.